Lead Girl, the Be Well podcast is your dedicated platform for amplifying the voices of Black women in various roles, whether you're a teacher, school leader, higher educational professional, or educational consultant.
Join us as we honor the stories of remarkable Black women and share insights from our distinctive journeys in education and life.
Tune in as we explore the topics that resonate with us as women, as members of the Black community, and champions in education. Welcome to Lead Girl, the Be Well podcast, where we amplify the voices of Black women in educational leadership.
We are your hosts, Trelane
and Jocelyn.
Good evening, Jocelyn. I'm so excited for this conversation. What about you?
Oh, always. Today's topic is, I think, so important for so many of us in education. And so I am definitely excited because it's a conversation we don't always get to have.
Definitely. And with the season, the November, we're about to be celebrating Thanksgiving. I thought it was appropriate for us to really start to think about gratitude and how important it is in our work, because sometimes, as we know, as educators, we're not always thanked, right? And we also, as educators, need to be grateful for the gift that we have to have the opportunity to do the work that we do. And some people don't really realize how much of a gift that is. But in concert with that, I thought about the ideas of grace and authenticity. So today we're talking about leading with gratitude, grace, and authenticity. And I couldn't think of two better folks to talk about this than these two ladies, these powerhouses in education that are members of Be Well. And we're in for a treat. We're in for a treat. So let's hear about who they are. Do you want to kick us off with our first guest?
Sure. First, we have Dr. Alicia Gallaway, who is a Brooklyn native mother and began her education career teaching in Virginia. Since 2008, she has served in Chesapeake, Portsmouth, Stafford, and Spotsylvania. Now I'm from Texas, so these are some new terms for me. But I got to put my little Texas swing in there. But she's also served as a teacher, reading specialist, and assistant principal. Dr. Alicia recently received her doctorate from Walden University. Okay, fellow Walden University here as well, as well as Frank Dilley Award for her doctoral study. She now serves as an elementary principal in Stafford County. Currently, Dr. Alicia also serves as the Be Well's National Secretary.
Hey.
Hi.
Well, glad to have you here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
And also with us, we have Dr. Yozmin Gay. Yozmin is an experienced educator, systems leader, executive coach, multiplier, and advocate for underrepresented children and families. She's currently the chief of staff for Petersburg City Schools in Petersburg, Virginia. Yozmin began her career in Baltimore City as a first grade teacher, instructional coach, and eventually served as a principal for many years, a principal advisor to the superintendent, and as school support network lead for Baltimore City Schools. She is also the co-founder and vice president of Flight 22 Foundation, where she leads the creation and implementation of equitable and entrepreneurship programming for middle and high school students and their communities in Baltimore City, Washington, D.C., and surrounding areas. Most recently, Dr. Gay has been named an awardee of the Joseph R. Biden Jr. Lifetime Achievement Award for her dedication to equity and access in education and community advancement nationally. I told you all you were in for a treat. Welcome, my sisters. Hello.
Thank you for having us.
Excellent. Well, let us get this started. So we've told the crowd a little bit about you, but tell us just a little piece about what you're doing in the education space right now and what's got you waking up every day. Let's start with Dr. Alicia.
Okay. So right now, as you've shared, I do serve as an elementary school principal, coming from high school. So I was there for 4 years, and decided that I needed to make a little bit of a shift. I'm super excited because I just get to work with such a young and vibrant group of people. I am at a Title I school, so there's also a need that I just get to serve a community that really appreciates any educational supports that we're able to offer. And honestly, that's what wakes me up every morning and allows me to make my 45-minute commute to get to my building.
Awesome. That is excellent. Dr. Yasmin. All right, Yasmin.
Thank you both, Trelane and Jocelyn. So appreciate being here with you all tonight, and Dr. Gallaway. Just really um, excited and motivated by the work that you all are doing as well. Trelane, what wakes me up every morning is that I get an opportunity to change the lives of children and families and the greater community. Um, I followed the same journey. I was a teacher for many years in Baltimore City schools. I say all the time, Baltimore City, it raised me. I was there for 15 years and probably could done pretty much everything you possibly could in the city, and it prepared me for doing other things within the nation. So, had an opportunity to work in Boston public schools, and that's where I met the awesome Trelane Clark in Boston. Served as assistant superintendent. For the Office of Opportunity Gaps, really proud of that work where we were able to implement a policy that guaranteed equitable opportunities for all of the 55,000 students in Boston Public Schools. It was a guarantee. I am proud to work with an awesome community, Petersburg City Public Schools, where I serve as chief of staff to the superintendent there. Shout out to Yolanda Brown, who's the awesome superintendent at Petersburg City Public Schools, and an amazing board. Just really excited about the collective effort to make sure that our kids are getting what they need every day, and not just getting what they need, but advancing opportunities for them.
Wonderful. Dr. Jocelyn?
Well, yeah, you guys kicked this off with telling. Well, before we go in, I just wanted to ask Dr. Alicia, high school to elementary. Now, I taught high school for like 8 years, so I just want to hear the transition before we just dive in today, because that's definitely two completely different environments. So I
Yes.
guess why the switch? Was it just I'm just wondering.
Oh, honestly, so I started my career as an elementary school teacher, and I've been at all three levels now. I left elementary school, became a reading specialist, went to middle school, and then that's when I transitioned into my administration journey. Went to high school as an assistant principal, and honestly, I I really enjoyed working with the young adults, but there were so many things that I started seeing happening in high school that
Hmm.
I really just wanted to go back to the beginning. I wanted to go back to
Mhm.
when they were in kindergarten and third grade and fifth grade and try to see if maybe there's some additional supports that could be put in place, or maybe there's some counseling that might be able to be offered,
Mhm.
or just really going back down and seeing how I could maybe influence these children by the time they get to be high
Mhm.
schoolers, so that hopefully some of the things that I was seeing at that high school level, I would make an impact on not seeing them so much by working with the younger kids. So that was my true motivation. I just felt like in high school they were already on a path, and I wanted to see if there was a way to maybe offer them an alternate route before
Mhm.
they
Mhm.
went down the wrong path.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, elementary is where it's at.
Well,
I'm just saying.
It is. I second that.
well, which it kind of goes into the next part of the question. You each represent different stages of leadership.
Yeah.
Dr.
Yeah.
Alicia, how are you discovering what service and leadership looks like in real time?
Mm.
Well, it's funny because I've always considered myself a servant leader. From stepping into the reading specialist role as an instructional coach, I just felt like while I'm helping to lead maybe a teacher or maybe a group, I'm also at their service.
Mhm.
Now being a principal, it is very different. I'll admit, going from instructional coaching to leading the building, but ultimately, I am here to support my staff, my students, and the greater community. And so, whatever it is that they need, the hardest part I found is just trying to balance everyone's needs at once, right? So, you have the needs of the students, but then your staff also has certain supports and needs that have to be put in place. And at this present moment, that's been the biggest challenge for me as a first year principal is just balancing everyone's needs and understanding how to prioritize
Mhm.
when I need to advocate for my staff and when I need to advocate for my students. But I'm excited about it, and I think so far I'm 9 weeks in and getting ready to wrap up my first semester. So everyone seems happy and excited about being in the building, and that means that I think I'm doing the thing right now.
You are.
Absolutely. And Yasmin, can you share how service and leadership has evolved during your leadership tenure?
Yeah, I'm just listening to Dr. Callaway and just remembering my first year, as a principal, and just thinking about you really don't know what that is until you're in the seat, right? And how you're serving. I had a mentor share with me that the leader is the lead servant. The leader is the chief servant. You are modeling servitude, and you're serving people to do the work that needs to be done for children. So
Mhm.
people have to be at the center of your thinking, of your planning. And I think that's the greatest lesson that I've learned is that people come from all walks of life. And as the leader, you have to be in tune with who you have, and who's on your team, because people drive programs. Programs don't drive themselves.
Mhm.
You can have all the great programs in the world, but it doesn't move or make traction until the people are able to understand, and are able to work together to move the needle. So, if I would say any lesson that has been learned is to really focus on your people, and it evolves, right? The concept of leadership, I think, over the last century, has evolved, because leadership, or the perception of leadership, was supervisory and management, kind of like just to be productive. But it has changed over time to focus in on your human capital. And it encompasses symbolism. It encompasses an opportunity to, as the leader, to kind of step back a little bit and let other people lead, those that have specific gifts. So, yeah. So, in many of my leadership roles, people have always been the center.
That's great, and that leads me to this next question around leadership of teams and leading adults, right? As a
Mhm.
principal, you want to create that culture. You want your adults to have what they need, but at the core,
Mhm.
you're like, I need for my students to have what they need. But even in the midst of all of that, the
Mhm.
elite, the adults are looking for your guidance. The
Yeah.
students are looking for your guidance and direction, and you just might get some things wrong, right?
Yep.
I
Mhm.
mean, right? As a
Yep.
recovering perfectionist over
Oh, yeah.
here, okay. Um,
Recovering. Recovering?
I have yes, I am recovering. Yes, I am. We won't talk about the ways, but I am recovering. Um, but it's a constant thing to continue to talk about grace and
Yeah.
giving grace to
Yeah.
yourself as
Mm,
you could give it to others. We're always doing that service leadership thing. We're giving and we're giving and we're giving to others,
mhm,
but that grace for ourselves is
mm,
sometimes really tricky. So what does that mean for each of you to give people the space and the grace to learn, to be able to make those
mhm.
mistakes, and for you to be able to learn and make those mistakes under your leadership? Either one of you can go
Yeah.
first.
Well, I'll just say, when it comes to the people that I serve, I just encourage them to try new things. And then I let them know that in the process of trying something new, we are going to make a mistake, we are going to stumble, and there's a lesson in the mistake that we've made. And if
Mhm.
we learn from that lesson and we're reflective about what could have, what we could do to change it, what we could do to make it better, then that's where growth comes in. And
Yeah.
ultimately, that's all I want for myself and for my staff and absolutely for my students is for us to grow. You can't grow if you are afraid to stumble and if you're afraid to make a mistake.
Mhm.
And I carry that same lesson for myself. I'm a very transparent person. That was one of the first things that I shared with my staff when I met them. I'm an open book. If they have a question about something, then I will answer it. If I don't know something, I will let them know.
Mhm.
I won't, there's no pretenses with me. And I think that just being open and honest about what my limitations are, both in knowledge and in skill set, because I am a first year principal.
Mhm.
There are going to be things that I don't know and that I'm learning and growing just alongside them. And by sharing that, I think it's really opened the door for the staff to feel like, hey, I can try something new. I can work with this coach and try a new instructional strategy, and if it
Mhm.
doesn't go well, then we can have a reflective conversation and
Mhm.
then we can refine it and try something new. And the fact that they know that there's no penalty, there's no consequence,
Mhm.
it's just open opportunities, I really feel like gives them that space,
Mhm.
and lets them know that, we operate in grace.
Mhm.
There's no perfect person, no perfect teacher, no perfect principal. We are all just human beings trying to do our best for the students that we serve.
Mhm. Well
Mhm.
said.
Yeah. I totally agree. And I'm just so excited, Dr. Calloway, that you have created that conditioning for your building. Um, I, my thoughts about uh, failure has changed over time. And I think in the education world, we've had a bad relationship with failure, right?
Mhm.
For considering the high stakes,
Mhm.
Yeah.
um, especially in urban schools, because I've only served urban schools where most
Mhm.
of our children were black or brown, and also that's what I prefer,
Mhm.
right? Because our children are brilliant, and the opportunity to demonstrate that is really important to me. But yeah, we've had a bad relationship with failure, and I cannot say that throughout my 25 years in education, um, that I've always had grace for myself, or for others, because what was taught, right?
Mhm.
Um, but that has shifted, definitely. We should be looking at failure as an opportunity to understand a gap in knowledge,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
you know, uh, we've made this mistake, and Dr. Galloway touched it. It's like we've made this mistake. Let's learn more about what happened. Right. Let's put that at the center of our work. What I really love about the work in Boston and my team, and also in Petersburg, I really appreciate our senior cabinet, because we do talk a lot about things that have gone wrong. We have like just recently we had like an after action meeting about something that happened out of school, and it was an opportunity to talk about, okay, what were the things that went wrong? What can we do to correct it? But grace, it depends on who it is, right? Not
Mm.
all of us are offered that grace specifically as Black women,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Because Black women, our mistakes are so much greater
Mm-hmm.
than others. And then when we do make a mistake, there's double jeopardy.
Mm. Hmm.
My
Double
mistake
jeopardy.
doesn't look the same as
Mm-hmm.
if a white woman leader made a mistake, or a white male leader were to make a mistake,
Mm-hmm.
and that's substantiated in research.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Definitely, definitely. And that, I mean, I would dare to say, without even knowing specifically, that each of us has experienced some aspect of that, right? Of
Hmm.
making that mistake, and then,
Yeah.
feeling the repercussions and just going,
Hmm.
okay, is this because I made
Yes.
the mistake? Is it because I made the mistake? Is it because,
Correct.
right? You know what I mean? So having
Hmm.
Yeah.
that conversation, and
Yeah.
it leads me to think about this aspect of authenticity, because we
Hmm.
want to breed, we want to be, give grace to folks, and at the same time, as Dr. Alicia said, that transparency, they want it, folks want it and need it. And
Hmm.
then at the same time, for Black women, I find that it can be really difficult to
Yes.
have certain levels of authenticity, right? You want to, that idea of like, okay, do we bring our full selves to work?
Correct.
Do we bring this part of our full self, right? It's like,
Mhm.
which part of it? And
Yeah.
it's kind of like a unique emotional weight, I think,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
That comes
Mhm.
with this, with being a Black woman in leadership. And
Mhm.
you gotta get it
Absolutely.
right. You gotta have it all together, because man,
Mhm.
don't let a shoe drop, because what are they going to say? And so
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
wonder how that tension has landed with both of you.
Yeah. Just in response to that, Trelane, that's for me specifically, I can speak personally that sometimes when mistakes happen, I not only feel it emotionally, I feel it psychologically and also
Mm,
physiologically.
mm, wow.
The stress and anxiety of something going wrong and the perception of not being a efficient leader.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that the same for my counterpart who isn't Black, right? Do they feel the same way? I
Hmm.
wonder. One of the, I think, one of the best books for me that I've read in a long time was Resvin Renigan's My Grandmother's Hands,
Mm,
where it talks about that trauma, right?
mhm,
That lies in our nervous system uh, of our enslaved ancestors, and the feeling of making a mistake and the harm that comes after that.
mhm.
I think still resonates today, even in leadership roles.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. There's a certain fear, not so much for me in my building, but it's outside my building,
Mm,
right? It's
mhm,
Mm,
in my building. I feel like we
mhm.
have this family culture of, hey, it's okay to make a mistake, and everyone is accepting. I'm in a very diverse building as well, which is amazing for me. I have at least 16 different countries represented in my
mm,
building through either staff or students.
mm,
So it's like a melting pot, but it's a very unique atmosphere.
mhm,
Now, if I step outside of my building, that's when those concerns and those fears start to come in,
mm,
because when you sit at the table, there's not very many people that look like me, whether they're
mhm,
women or men. They don't look like me,
mm,
and so there is that concern of, man, if something doesn't go right, how does that affect me? How does that affect my building? How does that affect the higher ups perspective of me as a leader?
yeah.
And so there is a bit of that um, hesitancy to be able to take certain risks outside of the building and to just see where things are going to go because I don't know if I'm being compared to someone else who, if they were to make the same mistake that I made, or if they were to make the same decision, not even mistake, but if it was just a decision that I
Mhm.
made, and that other person who doesn't look like me made that same decision, would the perception be the same? Would it
Mm.
be okay that they did what they did? Or would there be a question the same way that there's a question on me? So
Mhm.
absolutely there is a certain sense of tension and concern for me in that regard. And when you talk about being able to be authentic, um, I have to be honest and say, while I'm very transparent, I don't know that I could be my 100% authentic Brooklyn, New York native self when I step into certain atmospheres. And I'm very aware of that. I still try to be genuine, but I also have learned that there are just certain parts of me that I do have to kind of keep in my car or keep at home while I'm navigating my professional space.
Mhm.
And I hope that there will come a time where we, as women and as Black women, don't feel the need to do that. But that's currently where I am.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So true. And I think that there is such I always wonder, like, do white women in leadership have this same conversation with themselves? Because, of in terms of bringing their whole selves to their work. And I think that there's a certain level, like you said, this you're in a professional environment, so there's certain things that you just should not do, right? When you're in a professional environment, right? But then, how much uh, I don't know if squelching is the right word, 'cause I think it's different for different levels of people, right? But you may be squelching, aspects of your personality in order to coexist, not necessarily to assimilate or that you are going to go in and sort of be right where everyone else is, but just so that you can do what's necessary. So there's a certain amount of uh, of authenticity that we have to, I think, um, tweak, right, for the environments that we're in. Jocelyn.
Yeah. So, we'll go to Dr. Yasmin or Yasmin. You've done work with targeting education effectiveness and racial equity, both areas in which grace and authenticity are both necessary, and also challenging. Um, what have you both learned about marrying your broader goals and vision while retaining the essence of who you are as a leader?
Mm, that's a really good question. And pardon me, this is I'm multitasking. So I'm in the car, and all of a sudden now there's a rainstorm. So I'm hoping that you're able to hear me.
It's all good.
That's a really good question. Marrying my goals and maintaining authenticity. It's one of the things that I committed to, and I've mentioned this to Trelane, over time, is that regardless where I am and where I lead, I'm bringing Yasmin with me, right? Um, because it's going to be really important to bring your whole self as much as you possibly can to the work because you have been designed for that particular assignment,
Mm.
right? So whether it is, I don't know, whether it's marrying the two or if that's what's considered your calling,
Mm.
all right?
Mhm.
If I'm called to that or that's my purpose, then not sure if it needs to be married. That's just who I am, and that is what I'm bringing to to the space. This work of equity has always been who I am, right? Is making sure that I'm providing or designing opportunities for the least of them, for those that have been at the margin historically, whether it is instructionally, designing instruction that services our students' needs and make sure that it's culturally and linguistically affirming, to our students, or making sure that they have as much opportunity as other students do. And what we understand and what we found out is that throughout the nation, our Black and Brown children do not have the same opportunities as other children, whether it is having access to education programming, national programming, and the difference between success and failure is opportunity, is awareness, right? So, I mean, that's my answer to that question. Is it really marrying the two, or am I working in the place that I'm called to?
It's good. It's good. Dr. Alicia, anything?
Well, I would say Yasmin definitely gave a different perspective on that question. When I first was listening to Dr. Mack kind of read that out, I was thinking, for me, it's definitely been understanding what my core values are. And then taking those core values and making sure that every decision that I make, whether it's in my personal life or my professional life, aligns with those core values. And maybe that is because those values are built on my spiritual foundation and built on where I believe God has led me to be in this moment. But absolutely, in order for me to have a vision in the first place, I had to do a lot of core value work and understanding who I am as a leader, who I am as a woman, who I am as a mother, and then taking those values and applying them to all these aspects of my life. So I haven't found that it's been a marriage per se. It's just been the reality. It is what it is. There is no decision that will be made without me first tuning into those values and making sure that if I say this is what I'm going to do, then it's in alignment with what I truly believe. And those things that I truly believe are all people centered. It's all about taking care of the people that I serve. So if I know that I'm walking in those actions, then I feel confident in whatever decision I'm going to make.
That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. I hope that those leaders who are listening are listening and thinking about how important that, and what I'm hearing is around integrity, right? Yet another important value as a leader, and that you don't have to sacrifice your core values, but in actuality, we need them. We need them in schools. We need leaders who are actually really thinking about, I don't know, the people, right? That is so key. I want to shift gears just a little bit to add in this piece around gratitude. This is something that's very important to me, particularly, and I've always kind of thought about, you know, sometimes it's hard to maintain gratitude, right? Because there's so many things that we could say, oh, that's terrible. That's annoying. I wish that weren't like this. All the things that are wrong. And trying to locate even the smallest seed of something that we can be grateful for, I think is so important. And it carries us through really difficult seasons. I know each of you differently have experienced some really difficult seasons as leaders. And so I'm wondering if you can think about a moment where gratitude actually kind of shifted your perspective or helped you to navigate a challenge that you were dealing with in leadership. Either of you can go first.
Yeah, I can go. I think gratitude grounds me. It keeps me centered on purpose, right? And you mentioned it. There are so many things that come at you as a leader in education.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Within the schoolhouse, surrounding the schoolhouse. We're just thinking about what's going on nationally. Our families, the risk of them not getting their basic needs,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That hits us hard, and especially as a senior leader, it's very disheartening. Um, but it keeps me focused on purpose and why you're there, right? Um, I think gratitude also gives you hope. I'm so grateful for the leaders that I have learned from. Grateful for the leaders that have coached me and mentored me. I'm grateful for the leaders that shifted me as well. You know,
Mm.
in the beginning, sometimes we don't like what they do or say, but later you're like, they were right. And it shifted you into another realm of leadership,
Mm.
right? Because I think about, as we're progressing as leaders and as Black women in leadership, like you evolve, um,
Mm.
as you go. Leadership is never stagnant. It
Mm.
always evolves. So I've learned that, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, I would say when it comes to gratitude, I've been doing a lot of work on making sure that I just appreciate the small things, right? Like, I woke up this morning,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm.
have a home,
Mm-hmm.
I have the ability to pay for that home.
Mm-hmm.
And even though, sometimes I might feel a little frustrated over my commute or the things, all the many things that are on your plate that you have to do, the fact that I have a purpose and I have those things to do
Mm-hmm.
has been my focal point. It's been the thing that's really been carrying me
Mhm.
through um, a lot of changes in my life, both personally and professionally. And then honestly, I also have been on the receiving end of gratitude recently, and that has also fueled me because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we try to find the things that we can appreciate, and we try to find the things that we can just be grateful for in the midst of all the chaos,
Mm-hmm.
and then we don't realize that the work that we're doing has an impact on someone,
Yeah.
and it might be small, but I've been learning to also be appreciative and grateful for when people show me a semblance of gratitude. And
Mm.
I'll share with you that recently I had to make a pretty, what felt like hard decision within my building, just centered around appreciation days,
Mm.
ironically enough. So I'm coming in, of course, new, and there's a culture that has already been established of each group being appreciated at their designated times throughout the school year. And that was very concerning to me, mainly because I was afraid that I would miss a group since
Mm.
there's just so many different appreciation days that come in. And so my plan was, one, to celebrate my staff all through the year. So I did put in a system where we're able to shout each other out and just congratulate each other every day for different acts of random kindness. But then also, my intention was to fully appreciate the whole staff because we are one school, one team with one
Mm.
purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And so um, that appreciation was going to come in May when we typically would do our teacher appreciation. And then I found out that there were certain populations that might not be okay with that. And
Mm,
so I met with some people, I spoke with different staff members, and ultimately I shared my vision. Again, going back to that transparency, right?
mhm, mhm,
Shared my vision, shared my explanation. And I had a staff member come to me and say, I've never felt like I was part of the team.
mm,
Thank you for seeing us as one staff, one
mm,
team with one vision.
mm.
And
That's
that made the world of difference to me. It was
mhm,
one person, but it made such a difference to me because that person understood that my vision is to appreciate everybody,
mhm,
and knowing that we are all working through this and in this together. So that became another just moment for me to be grateful that
mm,
I was able to articulate that and that I was willing to be vulnerable and transparent and just put out there my beliefs so that I could get feedback. And I'm grateful that, that feedback was positive because once again, it was another thing that helped me to wake up the next morning and it helped me to make another decision. And it reinforced my belief in aligning things with my decisions with my core values. So um, the short answer is just daily practicing gratefulness, but also being, when you're on the receiving end, truly accepting it and using that to be your fuel as well.
mm. What a beautiful example, you know, because sometimes we know this role, this leadership role, can be so thankless. And so, yeah, you do have to savor those moments when someone actually says, like, thank you. Like, this made an impact. This was helpful. I appreciate when you did this. And because we know we'll get it when it's not appreciated. We'll find that out, really quick. But just yes, you have to just savor those moments for sure. I love that example. Yeah. Dr. Johnson, you want to ask our closing question? Welcome back.
Sure. Sure. So, what message would you offer to women, especially Black women in education, about leading with gratitude, grace, and authenticity, and just finding joy in the work that we do, no matter the season?
Well, I think for me, the first thing I would want my sister to know is to remember her why. We all go into education for a reason. And most of the time, it's not because of the money. We go into education because we care about people, we care about children,
Mhm,
we care about the greater community, we want to make a difference. Maybe there was a teacher in your life that helped you and motivated you, and so you want to pay it forward. But we all have a why. And so, first and foremost, it's remember your why. And then when you remember your why and you do that core value work and align your decisions with those core values while keeping your why in mind, um, that's how you find joy. At least that's how I find joy because I know that every time I step into that building and every decision that I make, it's going to benefit someone in some way and it aligns with who I am as a person. So it feeds me, but it also supports and helps my students, my staff, the greater school community. And it there's no way that I can't find joy if that's what I'm focusing on. So
mhm,
that's what I would share with any woman that's in education. And
mhm,
I would also say that it's important to show up as your authentic self. You know, we are human and we're going to make mistakes. We know what the professional version of ourselves looks like, but just being true to who you are is going to be that fuel that gets you through your day. Because if you have to keep being somebody else's version of you on a day to day basis, that's
mhm,
going to get tired really quick
mhm,
and it's going
mhm,
to burn you out. So, showing up as your authentic self and being true to you is that's where the joy is.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah, that was so beautifully stated. The only thing that I would add is, you have the same ownership on this earth as anyone else,
Mm,
and ownership of the opportunity, ownership of, this gift of leadership. And it is always this fear of showing up authentically, but your authentic self is what is needed
mm,
for this very moment.
mm,
You're not an imposter. You're
mm,
supposed to be at that table, right? Regardless of what it looks like around you or what it feels like around you, you're supposed to be there. Also, to find a safe space, find other leaders, um, that you can trust, that you can talk to. We know sometimes when we leave that building, we want to get in the car and just let it out. Who is that person or people you can let it out with?
mm,
Right?
mhm.
Is find your people,
Yeah.
those that can help you and talk you through the toughest moments, because it's not if, it's when
Mm,
you will have tough moments.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It's when, probably, I think about the principalship, and I always reflect back to whatever role I may be in presently. I always reflect back to the principalship.
Mm,
I think it taught me any and everything you need to know about leadership.
mm,
Why? Because you're serving so many different entities. You're serving
Mm.
students, teachers,
Mhm.
community, central office, right?
mhm,
You're trying to observe a first grade classroom, but you have a parent in the office that wants to speak to you right now
mhm,
and won't
mhm,
accept talking to the assistant principal, or the social worker. They have to speak to you right now.
mhm,
It's extremely hard, and that is a real example,
mhm.
Mhm.
right?
Yes, it is.
Many other real examples we could provide, but
Oh, so many.
we would be here for another hour on the
Uh-huh.
podcast with Wayne and Jocelyn if we were to, to talk about that. But I always reflect back. So, I'll end with saying, you know that you're supposed to be there, um, and own it.
Yeah.
Mm.
This conversation sometimes, we when we have these podcasts. I mean, I wouldn't say sometimes, probably a lot of the time, it's stuff that I need. I'm just gonna be real.
Mhm.
Mm.
It's topics that I need to discuss. It is topics. It is things that I need to grow in.
Yes,
And so,
we all
and
do.
I
Yes.
know that I'm not alone. You know,
Mm.
Absolutely.
and sometimes just hearing it
Absolutely.
again and again and again, that is some of the fuel, and knowing that, what, this journey is exactly that. It is
Yeah.
Mhm.
not it's not a smooth road, it's not paved with gold, but it is also golden because of the
That's good.
opportunity that we have, no
Mhm.
matter where you serve. No matter
Yeah.
Mhm.
where you serve, we have
Mhm.
such a special opportunity to give of our authentic selves,
Yes.
to provide and offer grace to people
Mhm.
when they don't even know what that means or what it feels like.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Not every profession gets to do that. you know I really, really just believe that. So, um, I'm so grateful in the spirit of gratitude, this month of gratitude, for you all taking the time to be with us, to share your authentic selves, to share with others, you know, how important it is, to be who you are in this work, and that it works. to
Mhm.
be who you are actually works.
It works.
It does. And it's freeing.
Yeah.
It's so
It
freeing to be
is.
able to
There is
be
freedom
It
there.
you.
it is
Yeah.
free. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wonderful.
It is.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, Jocelyn, are you back?
No, tech is always happening. The tech person. Okay.
It's all good. Well, we're gonna close it out. So go ahead. While we got you, go ahead.
All right, let me stand still. Okay. Thank you for listening to Lead Girl, the Be Well podcast, where we amplify the voices of Black women in educational leadership. Be Well is a nonprofit organization open for membership for you to serve and be served. If you are a Black woman in education leadership, we are looking for you. So become a member or support us by visiting blackwomeneducationleaders.com and follow us on social media on X, LinkedIn, and Facebook.
Tune in for upcoming episodes on a variety of topics that are sure to be relevant to your personal and professional growth. We invite you and encourage you to give us feedback or request to be on our show at bewellpodcast@gmail.com or reach out to us on social media at leaders_black. See you next time. Until then, lead, girl.
Lead, girl, you better lead.
You better lead.
Better lead.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Stay on for a moment.